For problem A, we've got negative 12 plus 8. What is negative 12 plus 8, guys? Negative 4. Then we've got 5 plus negative 1, which equals positive 4. And then negative 7 plus 3 is negative 4. So the one that does not belong is answer 2 because of the fact that it is positive while the other two are negatives. Okay. For problem B, we've got 18 plus negative 10 is 8. 5 plus negative 3, 2. Negative 9 plus 11 is 2. So the one that does not belong is the 8. Problem C, 55 plus negative 21 is 34. Okay, negative 12 plus 46, 34. Negative 10 plus negative 14 is negative 24. You should have your calculators. This should be very quick and easy for you guys. Okay. For problem D, negative 23 plus negative 48 comes out to what, guys? Negative 71. Okay, negative 54 plus negative 17 is negative 71. Negative 89 plus 25 is negative 64. Good. All right, so that's the one that does not belong. Problem E, negative 37 plus negative 13 plus 25 is negative 25. Okay, negative 60 plus 10 plus negative 15 is negative 65. Okay, 20 plus negative 80 plus negative 5 is negative 65. Okay, so negative 25 does not belong. 63 plus negative 46 plus negative 17, 0. Okay, 28 plus negative 15 plus 13, 26. Negative 24 plus 52 plus negative 28, 0. Okay, so 26 does not belong. Negative 24 plus 19 plus negative 18. Negative 23, okay. 19 plus negative 41 plus 1. Negative 21. 62 plus negative 95 plus 100, or plus 10. Negative 23. Okay, so negative 21 does not belong. And the last ones. Negative 39 plus 16 plus negative 12. Negative 35. Negative 18 plus 20 plus negative 37. Negative 35, which means the last one's not going to belong. 24 plus negative 52 plus 7. Negative 21. All right, so that's just going through, again, practicing, making sure that you understand how to type those into your calculator and use those positives and negatives. Let's go ahead and flip it on over to the back. We are starting Unit 1B today. Unit 1B is just going into rational operations. So when we talk about rational numbers are not just your positive and negative whole values, but they also include decimals, and they include fractions that can convert to decimals. So what we're focusing on for today is decimal addition and subtraction. So adding decimals and subtracting decimals using a very common practice, which is a bank ledger. So when you guys become old enough and you have your own banking accounts, you have a checking account, you're going to be writing checks out to pay bills. A lot of times you have to void a check to be able to start an account for certain things. Bank ledgers require you to balance your checkbook when you are writing those checks. When you don't balance your checkbook and then you don't know where your money is going, that's when you start overdrafting things. Okay, now a lot of this stuff is done digitally these days, but it's still a good idea to have a paper copy of stuff because sometimes your checkbook gets stolen. Or somebody doesn't steal the whole checkbook, but they might take a check out of your checkbook. And if you don't constantly keep track of where those checks are and have a written down going, okay, hey, check 021, I wrote it for the grocery store. And then 0 to, 2, I wrote it to, my next door neighbor because they bought something for me. Oh, but 023, that's missing. Where did 023 go? Okay, if you don't know where that went, and somebody took it, and now they're starting to write checks, that money's coming out of your account. It's the same thing when you use a debit card. Your debit card attaches itself to a checking account as well. You have to keep track of those transactions whenever you're using them. So that way you don't have fraud happen against you or have things stolen. You want to keep track of everything. Okay? So this is a great way to practice our addition and subtraction with decimals because decimals, money. Easy to think. So keywords that you need to make sure you understand. Transaction. When a transaction happens, that means that you are either debiting your account or crediting your account. Okay, a debit in an account is a withdrawal. Okay, it's the same thing as saying a withdrawal, which means that you are taking stuff out. So when you're using the debit, you are withdrawing money from the account. So you're either writing a check to remove money from the account so that it can pay for something, or you're using a debit card in order to pay for something. So we always indicate that as a negative. Then you have a credit. A credit is a deposit of money. That means that you're putting money back into the account. So maybe you purchased something, didn't like it, and then you returned it. So then they credit the money back into your account. Or maybe somebody wrote a check to you, so you're depositing it in. That's a credit that's getting added into your account. So we're taking a look at a couple of different situations. We're going to do a few of the situations together, and then you are going to do one of the situations on your own as your homework. Now, each of the situations, we're also going to go ahead and answer some questions based off of that information. That's my green. I don't use yellow. I need to change my highlighter, though, because my green kind of comes out a little oddly tinged. But that's my green. All right. So for my very first situation, we're going to use this ledger to record the information and answer some questions. So note, an important note that on August 12th, our beginning balance is $0. We have absolutely no money in this account. So on my bank ledger, I put my beginning balance is $0. I have nothing that I've withdrawn, nothing that I've deposited. My account is just now brand new starting. So I'm going to go through each of these transactions, and then I'm going to indicate whether that transaction is going to be a debit, which was a withdrawal, or a credit, which would be a deposit. And again, the withdrawal would subtract it from your balance. The deposit would add it to your balance. So our very first situation, it says August 16th, you receive a check from your grandmother for $40 for your birthday. Does that seem like it is something that you are having taken away from you, or something being given to you? Given. So you are receiving this money. It's going to get added into your account. So we put that as a credit to your account. So we're going to go ahead and highlight situation 1 in our green. And then on my bank ledger, because it is my positive, it's my addition to it, I'm going to go ahead and fill out all the information, starting with the date. What was the date? Say louder. 8/16, right? August 16th. 8/16. Now, transaction. That's when you put down what happened. You don't have to be lengthy. You don't have to go into a whole story about Grandma was so wonderful and she wrote me a nice, lovely check for my birthday. Yay me! You don't have to put anything like that. You can just put down birthday money, birthday check, whatever you want to write. Grandma check. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to put B-Day check. I received birthday money. So, am I making a payment here? Am I withdrawing? No. I can go ahead and cross that off. Nothing's happening here. Am I making a deposit? Yes. So I'm going to put down how much I'm depositing. I'm depositing $40.00. Which means now my new balance in the account is $40.00. Taking a look at the second transaction. On August 16th, you received a check from your parents for $100 for your birthday. Woo-woo! That is also going to be a deposit. So we're highlighting that in green and continuing on. On 8/16th, I got some more B-Day money. It was not a withdrawal. It was a deposit of $100. So now how much money do I have in my account? $140, right? because we are adding. We are adding $40 here. We are adding $100 here. We now have $140. Now, I had one student a couple years ago ask, well, if we're receiving all that money on the same day, why can't I just write one transaction is $140? Are they from the same person? No. So when you go ahead and bring it to the bank, you deposit them separately. So you're filling out a transaction form for them separate. Same thing as now. You don't even have to go to the bank. You can actually do a mobile deposit, but you would have to actually take pictures of the check, front and back, separately. So they come up as two separate transactions. Even if they were from the same person, but if the same person wrote you two different checks, it still would be two transactions, okay? All right, on August 17th, you purchased a pair of pants from Old Navy for $23.42. Is that green or pink? Pink. Why is it pink? Because you what? It's negative, right? You're spending money. You're purchasing something. So that money is going to get taken out of your account. You are now doing a debit transaction. All right, so for August 17th, 8/17, I have to put down my transaction. Do I need to put down that I'm paying for pants? Nope. What's going to show up from your bank is the store. They're going to put the store's name and what the transaction amount was. So what was the store's name? Old Navy. You do not have to put down what you purchased. You just have to put down the store itself. So when you're looking back through your bank statement and you're going, hey, what's this withdrawal that happened on 8/17? It's from Old Navy. Oh, that's right. I went and purchased something. Okay? So it was a withdrawal, which means that here is where we're going to place the amount of money. We're going to put down that we are spending negative $23.42. I do not put anything under the deposit. So is my balance going to get bigger or smaller now? Smaller. Because I'm now going to subtract $23.42 away from the 140. Now, I'm still going to end up with a positive amount of money in my account, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that part in green. I now have $116.58. For the next line of our transaction, it says on August 18, you find $5.19 in change during the day. So is that going to get a positive or negative? Positive. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and deposit that into our account. I know a lot of you would be like, well, it's just change. I'm just going to keep it in my pocket, whatever. But we're going to pretend like we're actually depositing it into the account. So again, you would put down just what your transaction happened to be. So it's just cash. It's money that you found. It's cash. Okay? We are not withdrawing it. We are depositing it $5.19. And yes, there are times when you are just going to take whatever money that you happen to have in your house and be like, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the bank. That's what I have my children do. They accumulate all that. How many of you grown up with like a piggy bank and you have all those coins inside of there and it starts to get really, really heavy? Right? And then you think, oh my God, I have so much money. So much because it's so heavy. But then you count it all out and it's like a whole bunch of pennies. And it winds up being like maybe 20 bucks. Yeah, well, that's cool. Okay, as long as it's not an illegal business. It's not Breaking Bad. Okay, very good. But you know, you might want to take all that money, deposit it into the bank, or change it out for paper money instead of coin money. Easier to handle. But we're going to add that into our account. So if we add $5.19 into our account, our new balance becomes $121.77. Okay, then we have our last transaction on August 19th. You purchased socks from Walmart for $12.76. Those are some very expensive socks. that is a purchase. Again, it is a withdrawal or a debit that is happening from your account. So we're going to highlight that in our pink. On 8/19, what am I going to put for my transaction? Walmart, right? Whenever it is something that you're doing at a store, you're going to put what the store is called, because that is what the bank's going to tell you. Because it is a transaction that is being taken out of the account, we're going to indicate it as a negative $12.76. There's nothing being deposited, so we are subtracting $12.76 away from here. But our balance is still going to stay positive, so we still have $109.01 left in our bank account. So the question A, what is your balance after the 5 transactions? So our balance at the end of all 5 transactions was our $109.01. We want to know how much money did you deposit it, meaning our positive values. So we're just looking at the positive values that we put into the account. So we put $40 in. We put $100 in. And we put $5.19 in. So we had a total deposit of $145.19. And then how much money did we pay or withdraw from our account? So what were our negatives? So we had a negative $23.42 plus another negative $12.76. Excuse me, for a total negative of $36.18. All right, any questions? Okay, let's flip it on over to the next page. What I want you guys to do right now on your own is you're just going to highlight. You're not going to fill anything in yet. You're just going to highlight whether these statements or these transactions that happen to be written here, are they going to be positives, meaning that they are going to get deposited, they are credits, or are they debits, negative, withdrawals? Highlight them in green if they are positive, highlight them in pink if they are negative. For our first transaction, on May 6th, you spent $4.38 on a gallon of ice cream at Marty's Ice Cream Parlor. Is that positive or negative? Negative. So we're going to go ahead and highlight that in our pink. Okay, on May 7th, you spent $3.37 on crackers, a candy bar, and a Coke from Circle H convenience store. Positive or negative? Negative, right? Highlighting in pink again. And then on May 8th, you received $10 for cutting the neighbor's grass. Positive. Okay, so we're going to highlight that in green. May 8th, you spent $14.80 on a downloaded book for your Kindle. Negative, right? Okay, so putting these transactions into place. We know that on 5/6, what was our transaction? Marty's, right? Marty's Ice Cream Parlor. I'm just going to put Marty's. Okay, it was a withdrawal of $4.38 from the account. So that means we're taking $4.38 away from the $8 that we have in our account to start with. So we're still going to have a positive balance. We still have $3.62 remaining in the account. Then on the 7th, we now had another transaction at Circle H. That was for $3.37 from the account. So we're going to subtract $3.37 away from our account. We still have a positive amount of money, but we only have 25 cents left in the account. Okay, at this point, guys, when you get to a certain setup where you have very little money in your account, you have the ability to set up a notification from your bank that'll notify you anytime that your checking account falls below a certain balance. So for example, like my checking account for our household, it notifies us if our checking account falls below $2,000. So that way we know that we need to start making sure we're transferring money from maybe some of our savings accounts or from our stocks into there because we've had to pay too much money. So like currently we're doing a lot of renovations on the outside of our home. So we had to drop a lot of money into our home, about $40,000 worth of it. So we've had to transfer a lot of money into our checking account so that we could pay off that stuff. So every time that our account starts to dip below 2,000, we get a notification. It lets us know. Then we go ahead and transfer some money back in. Okay. I know Io is making big eyes like, oh my God, that's so much money. It's not when you're an adult and you have a lot of bills that are coming out. So every single month we have checking or credit card accounts that come out. We have bills that come out for water, for sewer. We've got electric, gas, cable, whatever kind of bills, phone bills, mortgage, all that stuff comes out constantly. So you always need to keep a large amount in there just to make sure that you have enough wiggle room. All right, on 5A, we received money. Okay, so we went ahead and we cut the grass. So we probably received a check for doing the lawn. So I usually like to write, okay, it's a check that I'm receiving. It's the lawn. Just like we did birthday check, we have a lawn check. And they paid us $10. They might have given us cash, but we don't know yet. So we're going to add that $10 into our account. That's going to put us a positive $10.25. Now, on that same day, we went ahead and we're like, woohoo, we got paid. We're going to go ahead and buy a book from Kindle, from the Kindle app. And I'm going to purchase it for $14.80. What's going to happen? You're going to be in the negatives. So just be aware. Oops, and I just put this in the wrong spot. Don't mind me. That $10 was in the wrong spot. Once you start dipping into the negatives in your bank account, not only do you now need to get $4.50 put into your bank account, but you're also going to have what's called an overdraft fee. Every bank has it. When you go below zero in your account, your bank charges you for it. It's their safety net. So, hey, we dipped below the account. They're going to charge us $25. Hey, after a month, we still haven't gotten above the account. So now they're going to charge $100. They're going to keep doing that until you pay up what you're supposed to, plus the overdraft fees. Okay, so it depends on what bank that you have. Some of them have a small overdraft fee. Some of them have a larger overdraft fee. Okay, so you just need to be very mindful of that. That's why it's really important to make sure you are aware of what's in your bank, what's going in, and what's coming out. Okay? All right. What's your balance after the 4 transactions? Our balance is $4.55. How much money did you deposit? So again, we want the positive amount of money that we did. So the only money that we actually deposited in our account was the $10. Then how much money did we actually withdraw? So we withdrew a lot of money. We withdrew $4.38. We withdrew $3.37. And we withdrew $14.80. So we had a total amount of money that we withdrew of $22.55. So were we able to actually afford that Kindle book? No. No. Okay, we can't afford it. Now, look at the question, though. They're asking, if you can't afford it, how much money do you need to earn in order for your account balance to be at $0? So that means if we want our account to go to $0, we're looking for a zero pair. What would be the zero pair of negative $4.55? Positive $4.55, right? So we want a positive $4.55 to pair off with our negative $4.55. Okay? All right. So what you guys are going to be doing for the remainder of class is you are filling out the last bank ledger. You're going to fill out all the transactions, and then you're going to answer those final questions at the end of it. We're going to go over that in class tomorrow, so you do need to make sure that you have it done because you are going to exchange it with a neighbor, and they're going to check it for you. Okay? Any questions? All right, get started. You got plenty of time. You should be able to finish it before class is over.